In this video, we're going to explore some of the features of audio interfaces. We're going to find out what an audio interface is. We're going to compare built-in audio interfaces to dedicated professional audio interfaces. We'll look at some of the features, the setup, the use, and current trends in audio interface design. What is an audio interface? An audio interface converts digital audio to analog audio for playback from a music production application. It also converts analog audio from sources such as microphones or instruments to digital audio for recording and processing. It provides connectors for getting audio into and out of other devices such as microphones and mixers, and it may include other interfacing options such as MIDI. The quality of built-in audio outputs has improved considerably in recent years, but they lack professional connectors. They're usually supplied on stereo 3.5mm mini-jack connectors. If microphone inputs are provided, they are usually of very poor quality and do not provide phantom power or balanced connections. Professional audio interfaces, like the two shown on this screen, provide a range of professional interfacing options. They're usually connected to the computer using a USB or other peripheral interface. We'll quickly look at some of the features offered by audio interfaces, including the interface connection to the computer, the input-output connections, the provision of phantom power for condenser microphones, metering, and onboard DSP, or digital signal processing. The device shown in this screen provides two options to connect to the computer. One is using the USB 2 or Universal Serial Bus interface, and the other is a Firewire connection. This device offers two balanced microphone inputs on 3-pin XLR connectors. It provides balanced line outputs on 1/4-inch jack and 3-pin male XLR connectors. It also provides two high-impedance instrument inputs for electric guitars. It provides two headphone outputs, MIDI input and output connectors. It also provides digital audio interfacing using the SPDIF, Toslink, and ADAT standard connectors. This device offers word clock input and output for synchronizing with external digital devices. It provides phantom power for professional condenser microphones. It offers a range of signal metering options, and this particular device provides onboard digital signal processing in the form of a mixer. It also provides equalization and compression on every input and output. One feature of this mixer is the ability to route inputs to various outputs via mixing buses, and I'll discuss the implications of this later on in the video. Some audio interfaces are USB audio class compliant devices. This means they can be connected to a standard Windows or Macintosh computer without the need of any additional software. However, most professional devices require the manufacturer's driver software to enable the device to be used with your music software applications. You can download copies of the driver software from the manufacturer's website. When using your interface, you need to consider the use of the system audio preferences, the device selection in your music application, the use of the front panel controls, the possible use of an internal mixer, and signal processing latency. The System Audio Preferences dialog box in the System Preferences application in the Macintosh operating system allows you to select the default input and output devices that will be used by most applications on the computer. There is a shortcut to make this selection using the volume control on the menu bar. If you hold down the Option key and click the volume control, you're presented with a menu that provides selections for inputs and outputs. Each individual music production software environment also provides options for selecting the audio interface. Here you can see the dialog boxes in Avid Pro Tools, Max MSP, and Ableton Live, showing where the audio input and output device can be selected. In Avid Pro Tools, this is called the playback engine. Learning to use the front panel controls on your audio interface is an essential step in using the device. Shown on this screen is the Avid M-Box. It has controls for microphone preamplifier gain, for headphone and output volume, and importantly, a mix control, which allows analog input signals to be passed directly through to the output to provide low latency monitoring for use in multitrack recording. This control can provide problems when using the device for live performance. When the device is turned fully counterclockwise, any signal at the input is passed directly through to the output. When the control is fully clockwise, only the signal that is played back from your audio application will be heard at the output. When the control is between these two positions, a mix of the playback and the input can be heard at the output. In most live performance situations, you will want to make sure that this control is turned all the way round to playback. The Motu 828 comes with onboard digital signal processing in the form of a complete mixing console, which allows inputs to be mixed together, routed to buses, and sent to any of the outputs on the device. This very powerful application is very useful for setting up monitoring mixes in a multitrack recording situation. However, in live performance, it can provide all sorts of problems when inputs are routed to outputs unexpectedly. The last setup of the mixer is stored within the interface and is recalled whenever the interface is turned on. You will find it useful to know how to quickly reset the mixer settings so that no inputs are connected to outputs. On the Motu 828, this can be done by pressing the Setup button until 828 Setup is displayed, and then rotating the control to select Factory Defaults. Press the Value button to recall the factory defaults. I/O latency is a delay caused by the requirement to fill a buffer of audio data that can be passed from the software driver to the music production application, and a buffer of data that is passed from the application to the audio driver before passing it on to the hardware. The size of this buffer, which is measured in samples, determines the length of this delay or latency. This screen shows the settings for I/O buffer size on Avid Pro Tools, Max MSP, and Ableton Live. Setting the buffer size as low as possible will reduce the I/O latency. However, setting it too low will increase the processing overhead required by the computer operating system to pass the data to and from the device driver. This causes the audio to break up and cause distortion. Ableton Live provides latency compensation for recording into the Arrange window. The Ableton Live user manual provides a good description of I/O latency and approaches to minimizing this issue. Finally, I'll consider some current trends in audio interface design. Some audio interfaces are being produced that interface to the computer via an Ethernet network port using the AVB or Dante protocols. This is typical of higher-priced professional interface devices and is likely to become increasingly popular in the near future. There are numerous Wi-Fi-enabled interfaces, often in the form of stage boxes for live applications. These devices come with software that will run on a desktop PC or often on an iPad. Some interfaces use a Bluetooth wireless connection, but the audio quality on these interfaces may not be as good as that provided by a device with a direct connection. You should also consider whether a wireless connection provides the reliability that you demand in a live performance situation. In the near future, the USB-C connector will replace both the Thunderbolt and USB 3 interface standards. The current Motu 828 interface provides support for Thunderbolt, but this may not be available on newer computers coming into the market. It is difficult to predict whether the USB-C connector will become widely available or not. Finally, I encourage you to locate the manufacturer's user manual on the manufacturer's website and read it in detail. This is the only way to find out about all the features of your particular audio interface and to become expert and confident in its use. In summary, we've discovered what an audio interface is, we've compared built-in interfaces to dedicated audio interfaces, we've looked at the features, setup, use, and current trends of audio interfaces. And finally, I've reminded you that the manufacturer's user manual is the best source of information for your particular device. I hope you found this video useful. Thanks for watching.